In this video I'm gonna talk about the Barya faction. I wanna talk about how I like to play this faction, mostly on medium and large size maps. So let's start with the wielders. We have Arleon with archery skill and 15 ranged offense to ranged troop specialization. I think this is a really good choice since you will rely a lot on the archery ability, since you have the Hell Roars in this faction. So due to that, this is a really good choice to improve this one's skill. Bigly has the Chaos magic and Chaos Essence specialization. Also really good choice, I would say, since you want to have the Chaos magic and improve that also with the extra Chaos Essence. So also a very good choice. Everythink has the Destruction magic skill and 40% spell damage resistance. Also a very good choice. Since you want to have destruction magic, and also the specialization is really nice to have, especially before you have gotten any artifacts or visit any objects that give you spell damage resistance. Mary has the learning skill and plus range to range troop specialization. Learning is not something I usually want to have on my wielders, so I think it's quite bad. On the other hand, plus range is really good to have, so I would say that this is a not very good choice actually. Perhaps not the worst one, but there are better ones certainly. Nimander Breeze has the melee skill and 2+ damage to dress and dire dress. So I think this is a really good choice as well. Melee is a really good skill and plus damage to dress is a really good specialization. I would say especially on medium maps. When you play bigger maps, the dress is not as powerful, I would say, but maybe in the beginning and middle part of the games these are really good as well. So he's a really good choice also. Yuma Rosewater has this combat training skill and 20 melee to offense to Harima troops. I would say this one is quite good also with the combat training, always a good skill to have. The extra melee offense will not affect more than 1 or 2 units, I think, so it's not maybe the best one, but still a quite good choice, I would say. Sanas has the prepared skill and 20 defense to human troops specialization. Also a really good choice, I would say, since initiative is really important for this faction. Prepared is really good skill. Also getting the extra defense to human troops is really good. So a really good choice. Captain Xavier Silkspool has the Order magic skill and the plus Order Essence specialization. Also a very good choice since you want to have the Order magic and also get the extra Order Essence. So also a top choice, I would say. Sort 4 has the Scouting skill and the plus Destruction Essence specialization. Scouting is not a bad skill, I would say, but not something I usually pick either. 1+ Destruction Essence is really good to have though, so I would say this is a decent pick, maybe not the top one though. we go to the units. Start with the pipers and steam pipers. This is not a unit I usually build. You can get these in the beginning and they can have a certain role. They give you quite a lot of essence, so in that perspective they are quite good, but they are extremely weak, so I normally don't have this one in my army. So I don't usually build buildings for these guys unless I think there are some prerequisite for another building, but in that case I just remove these after. Pikeneers, quite good unit. Also the veteran Pikeneers, which have the spear wall ability that will attack the first unit coming in within 2 hexes of this guy, so that's a really good ability. And they can attack within 2 hexes, so really good. So very strong unit, especially in the early and middle part of the game, but they also serve a role in the later part of the game, I would say. So really good unit, quite easy to get also. Then we have the musketeers and veteran musketeers, also really solid unit. The only downside is that they have to reload for 1 turn. On the other hand, they have the upgraded ones have the aim ability, which increases the range and damage. So these are really nice to have, especially in the early and middle part of the game before you have gotten the Hellbreeds. But also really good to defend your towns in the early stages of the game, I would say. So really solid unit. Then we have the Dreths and the Dire Dreths. I really like these guys. I think it's probably the best tier 1 unit you could have, especially with the Retaliate First ability. So when these are upgraded, they will also retaliate infinitely, so that's really good. These are really strong, especially in the beginning and early part of the game, but also in the late part of the games. I can put these on my main wielders quite often. So really strong unit. Then we have the Brutes and Scarred Brutes. These are really good also. They have this 50% spell damage resistance ability. They have a lot of health. The upgraded ones have even better health. They don't cost any precious resources either, which makes them quite easy to get. So really solid unit, and this is the main melee unit that I want to have on my top wielders in the middle and end part of the game. So I always want to have as many of these as I can. So really good ones. Then we have the Tinkerers and the Artificers. These have the stakes ability that allows you to place stakes in front of you, and the upgraded ones can place a mine in front of you. They also have the flame breath ability to be able to attack 2 units in a row at the same time. These also have a lot of essence, so in that perspective these are quite good. But they are a bit weaker than the Brutes, so normally I don't build a lot of these guys. Maybe I will have them in the early part of the game, but but I rarely create these later on actually, just to make room for more brutes instead. Then we have the Sassanids and the Shadows. I don't think this is a bad unit. They have really high initiative, and these have backstabber ability, also ignore zone of control. They allow you to wait, but they cost Glimmer Weave. They are not super strong, and also these are better for attacking, I would say, than to defending, and in this town I rely a lot on the Hellbreeds, so it makes more sense to have defending melee units, so that's why I normally don't buy a lot of these ones. So then we come to the Hellbreeds and the Hellroars, which is an extremely strong unit. They allow you to attack a whole area of units, and you can also bombard an entire area with half damage, but there are no range restrictions, which makes these able to attack at any moment in time, which is extremely good. They are quite expensive though, but they have really good range, they have really good health and extremely good damage. They give you 2 destruction essence. So this unit is a really good one, perhaps one of the best units in the game, I would say. You have to reload though for 1 turn, so you have to be a bit careful on when you make your attacks. But extremely good unit, which makes the Barya factions to one of the best factions in my opinion. So you want to get as many of these as you can, of course, as early as possible. It's quite easy to get to the first level also. The upgraded ones are a bit harder to get though, but and also you need to have quite a lot of celestial ore, so being able to research this is very helpful for this faction. If we go to the skills, an eye for an amber, not something I usually want to have when I play this faction, since they don't rely a lot on this resource. Arcana magic is not one of the main magics for this faction, so you rarely want to have this one. Archery is really good, since you rely a lot on the Hellbreeds, so improving these is really helpful, both with the ranged offense and plus range. Channeling, not something I usually want to have when I play this faction, since I don't rely a lot on good spell damage power. Chaos magic, really good to get this school of magic. I will talk more about the spells later. Combat training, really good to have this one also, as always, so I almost always pick this one. Command also, as always, good to get to level 9 as early as possible. Crafty spiders, not something you usually need to have when you play this faction. Creation magic, not something you normally want to have, since it's not one of the magic schools for this one. Cunning can be quite good, I think, when you play this one. If you think that you will be able to end most battles within 3 rounds, it's really good. Destruction magic, always good to have this one also, since we have some spells that is really good to have, that they require this school. Essence Leech, not that good I would say, but certain times it can be quite useful I would say, depending on what troops the enemy has, what essence we will get from those. Find the meteors can be quite good if you don't have any other source of celestial ore. This one can be really helpful, since we need a lot of celestial ore. Guard, always really good to have to improve your melee resistance, so always a good choice. Impressive, not something I usually want to have when I play this faction. Learning, not something I want to have either, almost ever. Magic resistance can be good in certain cases when you don't have any other way to get spell damage resistance, but normally I don't get this one. March, not a bad skill, but not something I usually pick either. Melee, really good skill, so I almost always want to get this one. You'll also get the melee resistance at level 3, which is really nice. Order magic, also really good to get the skill, as you have some spells that require a lot of order essence. Positioning, quite good also to get the ranged resistance when you play this faction, so good to get this one in most cases I would say. Prepared, also really good, since we want to act early in the rounds, so getting more initiative is really good. Raider, not something I usually pick, so I almost never choose this one. Scouting, not a bad skill either, but we have other ways to find or to get view radius, so I rarely pick this one. Stonemason, not something we usually need, so I seldom use this one. Taxes, not something I usually pick either. Could be good on the side wielder I guess, but normally I don't pick this one. Tutor, really good to be able to teach your other wielders, so really good to get this one in almost all situations. Woodcutter, not very useful either, since we normally don't need that much wood. Then we come to the powers. We have the attuned, so we will get extra essence at each start of or at the start of each battle round. Quite good skill I would say, maybe not a top choice, but quite good I would say. Brutal, can be good if you have a lot of low tier units on your wielder, but normally I don't think this is that good I would say. Eager, really good to get the extra initiative. The troop movement we don't usually need that much of though, but this is a quite good choice still, mainly due to the extra initiative. Essence Burst, quite good choice also to get you some extra essence at the start of the battle. Essence Shield, always a good ability I think, to get the extra resistances before you have attacked, so I almost always choose this one. Farsight, really good skill since we rely a lot on ranged units, so very good to get this one. Levy, really good also, especially if you can't produce that many troops. It's really good to get this one. Rigger, not that good I would say, maybe if you have a lot of lower tier units, but normally it's not a very good pick I would say. Speed of winds, quite good option also, mainly due to the extra initiative. So quite good pick also. Then we come to the spells. The order spells. We have the protection spell, which allows it to add extra defense and spell damage resistance. Can be quite good I would say, although it's only able to pick at most 3 troops for this one, which makes it less useful I would say, but can be used at certain times. Quicken can be good if you want to get extra movement or extra initiative, so at certain times it can be quite useful. Pacify, not something I use that much I would say, but I guess there are situations when it can be good to reduce one enemy troop by 75% damage. Rally, really good spell when you have a lot of order essence, so will affect a lot of different things in a good way, so really powerful. Destruction spells, we have the aggression, giving up to 3 friendly units, 10 to offense, which can be quite good I would say in few situations. Sabotage, this one is really good to defend or decrease the enemy troops defense and spell damage resistance, so I use this one a lot. Really good, also quite costly though. Ice Bolt can be quite good if you want to lower initiative of a particular unit, or maybe kill off some single unit or so, but I don't use this a lot I would say. Fireball can be good if you have a really good spell damage power, but normally I don't go for this one. So, but it can be good I guess if you have a lot of units with maybe just a single unit in the stack or so. Arcana, I'm not gonna talk about this one since we don't get a lot of this spell class. So same about creation, we don't get a lot of essence for this one, so we'll not talk about it. Chaos essence, we have the chaos step, which is quite good if you want to move your troops for some distance. Since we normally mostly defend, this one is of less importance I would say, but there are still certain times where this one can be useful I would say. Boiling blood can be used in certain situation when you just want to kill off a single unit maybe or so. Tempest, not that good for this faction since we rely a lot on the ranged offense, so I don't use this one a lot I would say. Chain lightning requires quite good spell damage power, so if we have that, this is really useful, but normally I use my chaos essence for other spells. We have the dyads. I'm not gonna talk about that. It contains creation and arcana, so just skip this one. Fury, I guess can be used in certain situations when we are sure that the opponents won't be able to attack us. Then it can be good, I guess, but this is quite seldom, I would say. Strength and Essence, not gonna talk about this one. Destroy Essence, same about this one. Clouded Vision requires creation, so won't talk about it either. And the same with Aegis. Versus Strength, this one is can be really good, especially when you have a lot of lower tier units like the Diadrets. Improving these with +3 damage is extremely good, I would say. So I can use this spell a lot in the early and middle stages of the game. Then it's really powerful. I'm not gonna talk about Swap, and neither about this one, and not about Invigorate. Justice, very powerful, especially when you fight higher tier units like the dragons, to be able to kill off these 3 of these in one go. It's really powerful, so really good to use this one. I'm not gonna talk about this one. And Apocalypse, I guess, can be good if you are much weaker than your opponents and you just want to make as much damage as possible. It can be quite useful, I would say, but I use this quite rarely. I'm not going to talk about this one, neither this one. We have the Onslaught, which gives target friendly troop 1+ attack, which is a very good skill also, quite expensive, but really powerful, especially to put these on your Hell Roars to give them extra attack. So very good spell. Rupture, I'm not going to talk about this one. Same about the Breath of the Phoenix. Rejuvenation, not gonna talk about this one either. And then we have maybe the best skill of them all, Rapid Fire, which will make all your friendly troops getting 1+ attack, or all the ranged troops. But this is extremely powerful when we have our Hell Roars. Maybe we have like 3 stacks of these, and being able to give an extra attack to all of these stacks is extremely good. So we always want to get as much order and destruction essence due to this, and it can be a total game changer if you're able to attack 2 times instead of 1 in the first round. Then you can in many cases destroy the whole enemy army in the first round, which makes this super good. So very good spell to use. Then we come to the buildings, and we have the Bazaar to be able to trade with better rates. So really good when you don't have all the precious resources you need. Maybe you have extra stone and wood that you want to transfer to gold instead. You almost always want to get 5 of these to get the best rates. Driftden, really good to get this one. I almost always get at least 1 of these in the first rounds, maybe round 1, 2 or 3 even. and then I try to upgrade it as soon as I can. So really good to get this one. I almost always have maybe at least 2 of these in my towns. Factory also extremely good to get this one, and it's often not that hard to get to tier 1 either. Requires 10 celestial ore, but quite often you will be able to build this one quite early. Second tier requires the workshop also, I think even the tier 2 workshop, so requires quite a bit more, also a lot more precious resources. But this is normally the first tier 3 building that I create, so really good to get this one as early as possible. Fortalize, really good to get this one also, to get the brutes. So I normally go for at least 1 of these, maybe even 2 of these buildings in my tier 5 towns. Then we have the foundry, so these will make your units improved by different things. So this is normally the last tier 3 building that I get, but of course really good to just get this one to improve your units in different ways. Guard tower, always good to get this one, even though we have good ranged units. It's always helpful, especially when you get attacked in early stages of the game. Mercenary quarters, really good to get this one. I normally get this one quite early since it's not that expensive, at least for tier 1. So I normally have maybe 1 of these buildings in my tier 5 towns. Merchants Guild, this is normally the second tier 3 building that I build. Normally I build this one to get extra celestial ore as early as I can, so really good to get this one. Also getting more essences and building out the sizes of the unit stacks also. Piper's Post, not something I usually want, but it's a prerequisite for other buildings, so in that case I just build it and then erase it later. Rally Point, also really good to get this one in all your towns to be able to recruit units from wherever you are. Sawmill, also really good, at least in the early stages of the game, to be able to upgrade your town. Shop, always good if you don't need to build any other tier 1 units or tier 1 buildings. Really good to get these ones to be able to earn more gold. Stone Pit, also really good to get in the later or the early stages of the game to produce more stone. Workshop, also a prerequisite for let's see, for factory tier 2. So normally get this one to tier 2 and then erase it to make room for other buildings. Then we come to the research, and we have the creative minds. Since I don't use this unit a lot, I rarely go for this one, but if you use this one, it's really good to get the extra chaos essence and also the other tiers. But I seldom do this research. Dreth drills, really good to get this one also. at least to tier 2 and maybe to tier 3 also. So I almost go to tier 2 very early on with this one. Endure punishment, quite good to be able to improve your brutes. Really costly though, so I don't do this that early, but maybe later on when I have a lot of resources. Heighten senses, so I don't rely a lot on these units. I rarely go for this research either. Move fast, really good to improve your Harima troops, so mainly the Scarred Brutes, but really expensive also, so I do this later on mostly. Potent gunpowder, really good to improve your musketeers also, especially to get the extended range, so really good to research this one, especially if you use a lot of these guys. Refined armors, also really good to improve all your human troops, which you will have maybe 3 different units of, so really good to improve all of these ones. Refined equipment, plus HP to human troops. I don't find this that important. It's really expensive, and only if you use a lot of musketeers and pikeneers this is useful, I would say. So this is not higher on my priority list. Refined weaponry gives you plus melee offense to human troops. Not super useful either, since we mostly use the pikeneers. So, but if you have a lot of these units, it can be really good, I guess. So I normally don't prioritize this, but maybe later on when I have a lot of resources. Savage strength, also really good to improve your brutes, so always want to go for tier 3 quite early also. Sharpened pikes, quite good to improve these guys, to give them plus damage, melee offense and HP. So quite good, especially if you have a lot of these units. Steel bullets, this is really good, especially since we want to improve our hell roars, but also the musketeers. So this is highly prioritized. Strike hard, quite good also to improve the melee offense of the brutes. So I get this one quite early also. The roar of cannons, also really good to improve these guys. So I try to go for tier 3 as early as I can. So really good, especially to improve the range. Tune the pipes, since I don't build a lot of these, I rarely go for this research either. Then we have the Merchants Guild, a Forest of Pike, to increase the troop sizes of pikeneers. Quite useful, I would say. So especially if we have a lot of these ones, you want to extend the troop sizes also, and not that expensive either. Amplified artillery, this is very high on my priority list, to double the troop sizes of these guys. Maybe the first thing that I will improve the troop sizes for, so really good to get 10 instead of 5 troop size. Beauty of destruction, really good to improve your number of destruction essence on your wielders. So I normally go for the first and maybe second tier quite early, and then the tier 3 also later on. Clever cooperation. Since I don't use this unit a lot, I rarely go for this one. Embrace the chaos, also good to improve your chaos essence. So when you have the resources, go for this one also. Enlist indebted, quite good also to be able to build several buildings simultaneously, but only when you have the resources, since it's quite costly. This one may be the first thing I research of all things to get extra celestial ore, which we really rely on in this faction. Gather the muskets, also good to improve the troop sizes of these guys, especially if you have a lot of these units. Harima conspire. Since I don't get this unit a lot, I rarely go for this research either. Harima remember, also good to improve the brute sizes of the brutes, or the troop sizes, so very prioritized also to get these to the max troop size. Increased tariffs, also good to get extra income, so when you can afford it, go for these ones. Pack of drifts, also good to improve the troop sizes of the drifts, of course, since we normally rely quite a lot on these units, especially in the early and middle stages of the game. Piper Symphony, not something I usually go for either, since I don't use a lot of pipers. The Order of Things, also good to get more order essence, at least tier 1 and tier 2 early, and maybe the third tier later on also. So hope you find this one useful, and let me know how you like to play this faction. Please write me a comment in the description, and see you in the next one.